Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and in this video we're going to be going over some interviews that came out of the recent fan festival for Final Fantasy XIV. I guess saying they're from the fan fest would I'd sort of be correct. It says Famitsu's fan fest interview. I didn't realize that they actually did the roundtable there. I thought they did it like prior to fan fest. Whatever. It's more news coming out of this weekend. I think you get the point. And it actually covers a lot of hard-hitting questions or hints or bits of information that we were kind of wondering after the opening keynote, whether that be in regards to collaborations or large-scale content. But either way, we're going to be looking at this Reddit post from MKLBY. Pretty sure that we've covered posts from them before where they post translations and highlights from those various interviews. In this case in particular, Famitsu's FanFest interview. Now, granted, it may be Famitsu, but this is actually all the JP Media sites. Like I said, it's like a roundtable kind of thing that they tend to do. Anyway, let's get started. As you can see from the title, Return of the Yokai Watch collab confirmed, hints at large-scale group content, and more. That's my favorite. So, Dawn Trail, of course, they say is going to continue to include homages to past Final Fantasy games and future expansions. Dawn Trail has a strong influence from a certain numbered title. Gee, I wonder what one that it's pulling from. There aren't Mammal Jaw and Wivrays and a whole Final Fantasy XI themed raid. Gee, I wonder which one they're going to be pulling from. Granted, visually, I do also get a lot of Final Fantasy X-ish vibes from some of the things we've seen, whether it be the Pelu Pelu or just some of the environments to kind of give me Final Fantasy X vibes. But yeah, those two I expect to feature dominantly across Dawn Trail over pretty much every other Final Fantasy. Now, on the Final Fantasy XVI collab, it's not going to be digging deep into the story. It's meant for people who haven't played 16 yet, so you don't really have to worry about spoilers for that. Biggest spoiler you have to worry about is other people talking about it, like in Shout Chat. Definitely turn Shout Chat off for a little bit when that comes out if you're going through it at the time. Yoshi-P is thinking about contacting the 16 producer again. Can we do another amazing crossover? He's already thinking about a second one. Honestly, the only thing I'm wondering is what they're going to do on the 16 side of things. It's a crossover, so I expect they'll do an outfit or something. They did add the ability to change Clive and the crew's outfits throughout the game, so because they have that, you'd have to assume they add something. Maybe like, I don't know, like Ardbert's armor or something like that for Clive. That would be nice. Plus, there's, you know, all the other characters that you can change the outfits for as well. So, who knows? Maybe we'll get more than one, though. Can we do another? Haven't even released the first one. Can we do another? Return of Yokai Watch. Now, this has actually been asked about a lot lately. I was surprised. Preparations are underway to bring the event back. The talks are already going on with Level 5 CEO. It's a relatively large-scale collab. This is a translator note. You can mount minion glams and a weapon set by farming. Now, it doesn't say if they're adding new Yokai Watch stuff, because we have gotten a couple new jobs, Reaper and Sage, since the Yokai Watch collab last came around. And then, of course, people are going to be wondering, you know, what about Viper and whatever the other job is going to be. But this will, I'd assume, would come before Dawn Trail, and then they'll do this again in Dawn Trail, and I think that's going to continue to be the trend. I think they're just going to keep cycling this back in whenever they can, and then getting approval on, like, new weapons and stuff to make sure that people have something to grind every time it comes around. So on the 15 collab, if players keep giving feedback, the team will revive it when the time is right. I mean, let's be real. People aren't gonna stop asking for it to come back. I mean, people want the car if they didn't have the opportunity to get the regalia before. So, I mean, I expect it to return. If it's based on people wanting it to come back, then I would expect that to be the case. Team will also consider bringing back other time-limited events. They really do need to bring back the Aroha event. I don't think we'll ever see the Shantoto event again, but I think they need to bring the Aroha one back ahead of, I almost said Rhapsodies of Vana'diel, Echoes of Vana'diel. Just makes sense, you know? Yoshi said he's a big fan of Blizzard, would love to do a Diablo crossover, but there's a problem with age ratings. That would be strange. That's not the first time he's said that specifically about Diablo and about the age rating and stuff, but that would be wild. That's all I have to say about that. That would be wild. On the Final Fantasy XI themed Alliance raid, the 14 team are currently in talks with the 11 team. I'm sorry. That's funny to me. Because I imagine like Yoshi-P opening the closet that the remaining team members of 11 are and be like, hey, so what are we doing? Just opens it. They're like hunched over on like those little like crates. They don't even have like proper desks and stuff. Please wait a little longer for details. Yeah, it's not going to be till 7.1 anyway. A mono art yesterday was drawn for the Final Fantasy XI 20th anniversary, but yeah, I noticed that was a reuse of one we've already seen. But yeah, they are doing a unique key art for the Alliance raid itself. So that wasn't the key art for the Alliance raid. We haven't seen that yet. And then when we see that, we'll probably have a better idea of what's actually happening. I definitely expect... I'm going to predict one location that shows up that we're going to get incorporated is the Sanctuary of Jita. I think Shadow Lord and Sky, maybe the Archangels. I think that's going to be the focus of everything. I don't think it's going to be Promethea. I know Ottergon's an easy guess, but the way Ottergon goes, I don't think so. Seekers, yeah, I don't think Seekers either. I think the base game and the first expansion are probably the easiest to kind of translate over, even though it's kind of similar to the Ascian storyline to some capacity. I'll be doing videos about that. But Shadow Lord has to show up. If we don't get the Shadow Lord as part of that, I'm going to be very, very disappointed. Anyway, we'll know more when we actually get the proper key art. Hints at large-scale group content for 7.x. Now, I read these, and okay, we have to remember they have made mention of exploration or large-scale content at the North American Fan Festival on this. I believe it was the same slide they were talking about deep dungeons. And I think maybe from the interviews that came afterwards, they did acknowledge that while it doesn't really come up in the what's it called, the actual keynote, that it is something they're discussing and looking into. Reflecting on 6.0, Yoshida says that the team put a lot of effort into making it so the entire Heidelin and Zodiac arc can be played solo. However, Yoshida says in the 7.x series, the plan is that you will cooperate with everyone and overcome challenges with a large number of people. Now, that sounds promising. I sometimes worry that it's like PR speak for it to really have to do more with the story and not actually about the idea of large-scale content. But again, this isn't the first time it's been mentioned, so I guess we can kind of take it in strides. Especially the next comment. He adds that it gets boring in an MMO if you do the same thing over and over. So for 7.0, the focus is once again on having fun together with everyone. So that's a big thing. You know, we are playing an MMO, and I do love that I can approach a lot of things solo. But realistically, I mean, a lot of the negative emotion towards Endwalker has felt like a lack of that in particular. Even if we've gotten a bunch of other really good ideas with, you know, somewhat botched executions, not having that large-scale content to kind of palate cleanse in between all of the major raids or patches, really, you can feel the repercussions of that. So I think they want to get back to having that so that we can, I don't know, so that we can just have something like it. Although I do wonder, they mentioned that the, well, not restoration, the lifestyle content would be less solo play this time and more interactive. So I still wonder if maybe this isn't, the question is, does this encompass like a lot of activities? This whole having fun together with everyone comment, is it just referring to the lifestyle? I don't know. It's just, it's one of those things where I'm afraid to be like, oh yeah, exploration content, because it doesn't say that here. So I'm nervous. I don't want to be the one who says, yeah, they said it, it's happening. I don't want to do that. So we'll see. Other tidbits as well. Currently, the team has no plans to implement duty support for non-MSQ dungeons. Not surprised, but while the non-MSQ dungeons, I think, you know, was kind of a given. Trials, still a question. They've talked about adding it to trials in the past, but that it's a lot of work. But, you know, there's still no more comments on that. There will be a Kugane Tower-style jumping puzzle in Tyrol. That gets a thumbs up from me. There are general story ideas in place for 8.0 and 9.0. Yeah, that's not a surprise. They're always thinking several expansions into the future. Yoshida says he thinks it would be a good idea to add an in-game calendar for community events. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised because they have something like that, I think, in the companion app, but I don't use the companion app. Also, there will be new features added to the companion app soon. There you go. There are a list of ideas to improve in this area, and the team will steadily develop them. Cool. He says he's a heavy Xbox gamer himself, so is happy to see... No, I'm happy. So to see Xbox players to be able to start Final Fantasy XIV soon. Yeah, a lot of that stuff is actually hitting sooner than I would have expected. The Xbox beta is going to be January, February. We have the Fall Guys thing coming on Halloween Day, same day as Variant Criterion and a few other things. And then, you know, we'll have the 16 collab. Yokai will watch collab returning. Let's be honest, the 15 collab will probably return. We're going to have a lot of that stuff to hold us over, even though we probably won't have anything major. I think it's just going to be a lot of collabs cycling in and out over the period of time that we have while we wait for Dawn Trail. Plus, we still have 0.55, like Allied Tribe Quest. Yeah, a couple of things that'll hold us over for like a day or whatnot. Either way, that's it out of the roundtable from the JP Media interviews from FanFest. So thank you again to MKLBY for posting these highlighted points from said roundtable over on Reddit. I'll include a link to that in the description of the video. And I'll keep an eye out for any other news that comes out. I know there were a few creator-related questions that popped up, you know, like, oh, we'll talk to the dev. I know Zeno asked about raising the tome cap, and he got the I'll tell the dev team about it, which doesn't necessarily mean anything, but I feel like they've probably heard us say that enough that that's more of a PR answer than anything else. But yeah, I know there's a few other related things that some creators got to ask Yoshi-P at FanFest itself during like meet and greets and whatnot. But that's going to be a wrap for this video. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share. And of course, stay tuned. I've got a ton of Dawn Trail related stuff coming up, Final Fantasy XI stuff, because I'm sure people are curious in regards to Echoes of Vana'diel. Half of you have no idea what I was even just talking about 2 seconds ago when I started talking about that stuff. And, you know, more of the usual. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. And until then, take care.